Joe and Hampton, lights dim, it's game time. Interview sharp, cut through like a shank line.
There's a stigma with depression and anxiety, right?
Okay.
A lot of people, they don't want to tell their family, right? They try to hide it best they can, but eventually it comes out, right? Coming to therapy, a lot of times people are like, I've never done therapy before. I'm really nervous. Like, I don't know what to talk about. It's like, well, just talk about you. What's going on right now that is causing you issues? You know, why can't you get out of bed?
Yeah.
Okay. Mind-body connection in terms of how do we stay present. So usually client always like, well, how do you do that? You practice it. So if you're doing something, if you're in the middle of the mall, if you're at home, and all of a sudden you notice that your thoughts are just kind of going elsewhere, you just say, hey, where am I and what am I doing? And that will help you come back to being present.
All right, Stick Lounge Podcast. How's everybody doing today?
Doing pretty good.
All right, so this one's going to be a little bit different. This is going to be a new series that Stick Lounge Podcast is putting out with Dekel Zuri. Dekel, good to see you again.
Hello, hello.
So we're going to call this one Positive Awakenings, right?
Yes.
That's what we're going for. And that is the name of your business.
Correct.
Right?
Yep.
Business? You call it business?
Yeah, business, yeah.
Okay.
Private practice.
Private practice.
Business,
yeah. There we go. Yeah, so from what I understand, the aim of this is going to be for you to just get the word out about some topics in mental health and such things.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of put it under a blanket of mental health, but I'm sure there's a lot of other things in there.
No, I think having that blanket of mental health is really good.
Okay.
At least for some people, they're like, oh yeah, mental health.
Right.
You know, I get nervous, I get anxious, and
right. All kind of falls under that, right?
Exactly.
Okay. I'm going to learn a lot for sure. Probably ask some dumb questions and not know some things. But what I think I really want to push to people right now is we're going to be doing these one a month, right?
Yep.
That's the plan right now.
Yes.
And if you have questions about any of the topics that Dekel is going to be talking about, submit them to, what's your new website?
Growth.positiveawakenings@gmail.
Growth.positiveawakenings@gmail.
Yes.
Okay, cool. You can also submit any comments or anything to all the socials. You will definitely be able to find it on the Stick Lounge socials, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. I think that's it.
all the socials.
All the socials. And Dekel, you're going to be setting some up as well.
Yes, through Instagram and TikTok.
Instagram and TikTok. Okay. And I will tag and put things there, and you'll have to reshare. And we're not good at any of this, so we're going to figure it out as we go.
I've never used TikTok, so this is going to be interesting.
Like I told you, man, TikTok, it's very in your face. The second you open it, it just starts screaming at you, and you're like, why are you yelling at me right now? So it's maybe we're getting old. I don't know.
I'm going to have to ask my 17-year-old for tech support and be like, how do you open it? How do you do this?
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right, cool, man. So this is going to be the first of what we're shooting for is at least 12 episodes.
Exciting.
What do you got for us today, man?
Well, basically just talking about mental health, the introductory to mental health in the background, right? In a nutshell.
Yep.
Kind of like, what is it? Talking about when we should go to therapy, why we should go to therapy, just if I'm feeling exhausted, if I'm feeling tired, if I'm feeling stressed, does that mean I should go see someone? Why or why not? And then also just kind of talking about the cultural implications of therapy. There are a lot of groups where, especially if you are immigrant, that they don't look at mental health the same way we do in terms of like if you are established here, third, fourth generation kind of thing, even second generation. I know growing up, being Black, we did not talk about depression or anxiety or I'm sad or this. It's just like, you know, if you're sad, work harder. Or I can beat it out of you. You know what I mean?
No,
or just like, and so now, at least for me professionally, a lot of my clients are people of color. I have a lot of Black, Southeast Asians, Asians. So it's really nice to see them coming into therapy. And they always say the same thing. Like, we didn't talk about this growing up.
Well,
and this is my first time.
I don't know if you know this, but I didn't grow up Black.
Really? What?
But I did grow up, you know, in a small town. You know, and same thing there. You know, you didn't, I don't even know if there was a therapist in my town, dude. Like if there was a person that did what you do. Shoot, I still tell some of my family members, like, you should talk to somebody, you know?
They're like,
like talk to somebody about what?
Like my cashier?
I talked to Bill. I talked to Bill at the grocery store. What do you mean?
My dentist?
My dentist. Like, what are we talking about?
And, you know, and just a funny thing, it's like, what do we talk about?
Right.
And so here's a funny thing. So it's just like, I'll have a client and there are times where if I have a new client and I'm like, oh, well, we were in therapy before. And I'm like, well, what happened in that previous therapeutic relationship? A lot of times it's like, well, they were nice, but I felt when I went to therapy, we were just like talking and it felt like we were friends and not like doing anything.
Right.
And sometimes it can fall into that trap. But even with that, so like I had a client who they really like cooking. They were doing barbecue kind of stuff, and they were really anxious. So they have anxiety disorder.
Okay.
They were really anxious about kind of preparing a lot of stuff. And
like
so
just as far as the meal
and stuff like that, they were just like, oh, someone's not gonna like it, or it's not gonna taste good if I do this, you know?
Yeah.
And so when they came into the appointment, first thing I was like, so how did it go? How did, I know you were really nervous last time.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, it really went well, blah, blah, blah. And I could see how some people are like, oh, what did you cook? And was it smelling good?
Sure.
And again, that part is fine. But then how do you bring therapy into it?
How do you bring it
so
back
then
around?
it's just like, oh, I'm like, well, our last session, you were talking about how nervous you are, right? You were really nervous. You were really anxious. You had all these thoughts going on. So the day before, were those thoughts still there? And exploring that. Well, how did you get through it?
Right.
How did you get from point A to B to C to D? Cook and and then helping them kind of go back through.
So in that example, you're almost letting them discover how the therapy worked, maybe almost without them even knowing.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Nice. And a lot of times too, I mean, it is nice when clients actually apply the stuff that we're doing. Like I have one client who I've worked with for a couple years, and he brings a binder and he writes down everything, and I'm like, damn, like but it's great.
He's thorough.
And like, let's talk about your homework, and he's right there.
Okay.
And there's some that like, I didn't do the homework. What was it again? But if they remember some things, like I remember we were talking about like reframing negative thinking. What is that like again? Or I had a thought pop in my head that I was ugly, but then I'm like, you know what? No, I'm not going to say that. Like, that's still a positive step, right? So when we talk about, well, what is that under cognitive reframing or restructuring?
Sure.
But I always try to bring it back to what is a person doing in terms of the active moment of working on anxious thoughts, distressing thoughts, negative statements, all that kind of stuff. So we can still be, I don't know what the word is, like frank, just normal conversation.
Sure.
But I always try to like weave in.
Well, you want to build that rapport, right?
The therapeutic relationship is king.
One of the biggest things that I've noticed recently in my life with medical things with my wife, my daughter, bedside manner. Very few doctors anymore have good bedside manner, you know? We are a product. We're a commodity to an extent, and I don't mean that in the way of like, no one's doing a good job out there. I just mean it has a different feel than it did maybe when I was younger, and maybe growing up in a smaller town. Maybe that's part of it too.
I mean, yeah.
But as a therapist, you have to have that rapport.
You have to have that rapport. Because, I mean, the difference between therapy and psychiatry is that psychiatrists are medical professionals. Usually you're going there because you need medication for antidepressants, anxiety, bipolar, something like that, right? So it focuses more on the medical model. With therapy, you have to feel comfortable talking to me.
Yeah.
If you don't feel comfortable, if you're like, this guy gives me the EBGBs or, then you're not going to open up, and we're not going to develop a healthy therapeutic relationship, And again, any client that sits in front of me, especially new ones, I know they're not always going to spill everything the first time around.
Right.
They want to know if they can trust me.
Yeah.
If what I say is contrary to what they believe, right? And I've had, I mean, most of the clients that I've seen for an intake, they usually stay with me.
That's good.
I've very like kind of like low turnaround rate.
Yeah.
And even then, I'm just like, after like 6 months, I'm always like checking, like, hey, how are things going?
Yeah.
Are we meeting your goals? What's going on? And if they're like, and there are times I've had 2.5, 3 years. I'm like, well, how's therapy? I don't want to leave. I'm like, well, I'm not forcing you out, but
and you're done. Hey, how do you feel?
But I'm like, what are you getting from this?
Right.
Because I don't want to just sit and just like, oh, like,
sure.
I was sitting in traffic and I got mad. I'm like, well, I do too.
Sure. So that brings me to the question where you kind of started this is, when do you start therapy? Because look, I got problems. Everybody's got problems, man. You know what I mean? Like being honest though, I mean, are they debilitating? No, they're not debilitating. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, everybody's got stuff they're working through.
Yeah.
Whether it's personal, social, physical, mental. I mean, it's all one big bag, right?
Exactly. Yes.
So when do you seek help?
So when we are looking at like diagnosing, there's kind of like 3 levels: there's mild, moderate, and severe, right? Okay. So severe, let's take depression. Person can't get out of bed. They're not bathing. They're not brushing their teeth. They're not doing any other activities of daily living, right? They have kids and they're like, Mom, Dad, I need to get out of bed. I'm getting hungry. And it's just like extremely hard for them to do any kind of task.
Right.
Going to work, they're calling out of work all the time. So that we're looking at that severe depression. There's suicidal ideation going on. They're just completely isolating from their friends and family.
Yeah.
So that's severe. It's like, yes. As a family member or friend, they're like, hey, look, these are the things that we're noticing. We really think you need to see someone, right? But that's, again, the extreme. That's like severe.
Yeah.
But mild. What does mild depression look like, right? Or depressive mood. So everybody has been sad, right? Everyone's experienced a depressed mood at least one time in their life, right? The loss of someone that you care about. The loss of a job, right? Getting in a bad car accident, and then your life is... So
big change.
Exactly. But we want to look at it in terms of whatever you're going through, is it having an impact in your relationships, in your work, right? With your activities that you like to do? Like, so let's say if you're a big shooter, right? Go shooting all the time. If all of a sudden you're like, I don't feel like going shooting today. You're like, okay, that's fine, right? You're tired.
Right.
And then the next week comes along and you're like, oh, I'll go the following week. And you're not going for, let's say, a month or two.
Yeah.
And people are like, hey, Joe, where are you? You haven't been here in about a month or two. I'm like, oh, I got other things going on. Like, life is busy.
Sure.
That could be true.
Yeah.
But then also, are you using that as an excuse?
Sure.
Right? So then if you're not hanging out with a friend, I'm like, hey, Joe, let's, go for a beer. And you're like, oh, I'm kind of busy or I'm kind of tired. The first couple of times, family or friends, they will kind of excuse me. Be like, oh, okay, yeah, he's busy. Sure. But then if it's kind of a little constant thing, we kind of see you out and about.
Yeah.
Then it's like, okay, well, the things that you used to do, you're not doing anymore. Why is that?
Yeah.
Right? But you're still like taking a shower. You're still going to work.
Yeah, sure.
You're still like
you're doing the things.
Right. You're still kind of doing the things, but you're slowly just kind of like withdrawing a little bit.
Right.
So again, it's like kind of asking yourself like, oh, like I haven't gone shooting in a couple of months. I wonder why.
Yeah.
And then checking in with yourself.
Right.
Like, are you sad?
Sure.
Right. And kind of asking yourself, like, I haven't been doing the normal things that I have been doing before.
Right.
Why am I stepping back?
Right.
So I think, again, that's a perfect time to say,
excuse me,
maybe I need to talk with someone to figure out what is going on.
Right.
We don't all have the answers. Right.
Sure.
But then you go see someone to help you figure out what is going on. So stress. You have a lot of stress in your life.
Yeah.
Right.
Can it be obvious though? I mean, like for me, I've been through a lot of changes recently.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is kind of hitting, you know, right where I am.
Yeah.
Doubled up on responsibilities as far as the kids, you know, doubled up on financial responsibilities.
Yeah.
Took on some other projects, you know,
just a little bit, right?
Just a little bit. So yeah, I do tend to put other things aside. Again, just personally, maybe that I would do before, you know, just going and hanging out and doing nothing because now I'm doing something or I'm tied to something.
Yeah.
So I don't think that me personally, I'm depressed. Yeah. Things are different. Things can be tough. And I have moments of sadness and depression.
Yeah.
The reason why I'm using myself as an example is, in my situation, would you recommend like wait it out and see how you're doing? Maybe this is just a big change. Your life has changed quite a bit.
Yeah.
Or does somebody need to seek help?
So it's individually based, right?
Okay. If I feel like I have it under control, does that not play into it?
Well, no, but it's kind of subjective, right?
Right.
Because I feel like I have it under control, but your daughters or someone else is like, oh, Joe, you know, like
you don't.
Yeah, like
you're
masking, you're acting like things are under control because you're taking on a lot and you're always busy, you're smiling, you're laughing. But that is a facade that we also kind of put out there, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But here's the thing. Whether you just have a lot of stress and you're just unknown about stuff, it never hurts just to go and talk with someone.
Right.
You can make an appointment, chat with someone, and you're like, you know, this dude or this person is really, really cool.
Yeah.
And you don't know where that therapeutic relationship will take you.
Right.
Right. Because then it can kind of highlight some cracks that are there, and you're like, oh, I didn't really realize that, or I didn't realize this is what I was doing to mask this behavior or this feeling.
Right.
So I would never ever tell anyone, oh, only go to therapy if the symptoms are severe
or if you moderate. Feel like you're losing control.
Right.
Yeah.
Just go. I mean, right. I have clients, or prospective clients email me like, hey, I've never been to therapy before. My life just feels a little kind of weird. Like, I'm not sure. Like, am I a right fit? Yes. Might come in. Right. And then we talk. And again, there are people that come in just because they have stressors in their relationship. Right. Like, I love my kids. I love my husband and wife. Like, things are good, but I'm just like, and again,
I laugh because we all say that, right? I love my kids. Yeah. I love my significant other, but sometimes I punch them in the face.
Just like, oh. Yes. But again, it's just like,
when you don't do that, you don't act on it, but
exactly. Right. But always just go in, right? Schedule an appointment. And again, there are times where people will meet with a therapist the first time and be like, yeah, that felt weird. I didn't like that person, and we'll never go again.
Right.
But going and finding a therapist, it's like, I kind of look at it as like finding a good pair of shoes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because you can have some shoes and like, these things are going to kill my feet. But I have to have them because I was going to a wedding and they're expensive, but I'm only going to wear them like maybe once every 8 years, right? You know what I mean?
I got a pair of boots at my house. Okay. Spent like $200 on them. And now I hate them.
Yeah,
I hate them.
Just like, but you can't get rid of them though, right? You can't get rid of them.
Nice boots.
They're just sitting there looking at but that doesn't mean that therapy is not right for you. Maybe that particular therapist, that relationship, it wasn't going to work out.
I've had one therapist. Becca and I did couples counseling.
Yeah.
I loved her. She was amazing. She's back in Arizona, but no, I agree with what you said. Like, at the time, I mean, again, I was raised kind of that way. Don't need therapy. Figure it out yourself, right? Yeah. Started doing therapy, and all these things that I did not even realize were there, different perspectives that I never considered previously. So it was very beneficial. Yeah. But it was a great fit, and that's the only one that I've ever had. I've never tried again. So maybe I should look into it. Maybe I should.
It never hurts, right?
Yeah.
When Matt and I, my husband, when we were looking at adoption, we saw a couples therapist, and we were very frank. We're like, we've been together for a while. We don't really have a lot of issues,
right?
But we just want to check in. Like, his parenting style is different from mine.
Right.
We're a same-sex couple. He's white, I'm black. I was raised Muslim. You know what I mean? All these things. So we just wanted to like talk about our communication style and what does that look like. And it was really good. We probably went like 6 to 8 sessions.
Yeah.
And it was really nice. And then afterwards, he's like, look, you guys are good. These are like little things that you can do to tweak, whatever it is. But overall, he was like, and it was reassuring. But I'm also like, yeah, I knew that. But I didn't say that. I didn't go in like, I'm a therapist. And,
nice.
But it was also nice to hear Matt's perspective. Some of the things that he didn't say out loud to me,
right?
That he was able to say there.
Yeah.
And I was just like looking at him like, well, how come you never said anything? But
right.
That's messed up. But again, it creates that space for a couple to do that. You know? That actually, it's funny because that kind of leads into the different types of therapists.
Okay.
So I am an LMHC, so licensed mental health counselor.
Okay.
So I work individually with individuals.
Okay.
There are times where I've had clients bring in their significant other spouses just for like a check-in, or usually the spouses are like, I don't think he's doing anything you're telling him. It kind of tells on them.
Right.
But it's very rare, but sometimes they will bring him in.
Okay.
Then there are therapists that are couples specifically and marriage.
Okay.
And then there are therapists that also do families, like with kiddos and couples, right? Or maybe just like one parent and kids.
Right.
Or it could be grandparents, and maybe you live in a generational house where you have grandparents and the kids and everything, right?
Sure.
And
boy,
so
that sounds like a hell of a session. That would be something.
When you're like thinking about what type of therapist you want to be,
right?
I knew I could never do couples.
Do like 3 generations in a room at once. Dude,
I just like, and I couldn't do couples because I'd probably choose sides. I'd be like, you know what, dude, like,
right?
You're wrong.
Yeah.
So I just knew, I'm like, I got to do individual.
Yeah, stay in your lane.
Yeah,
stay,
I just
stay
could
where you're
not
supposed
do
to
that,
be.
because I'd be like, girl, he did that to you. What?
Oh, I'd dump his ass.
Yeah, I just could not do that. But yeah, and then there's also social workers.
Okay.
Social workers who get their master's, they can also get licensed, and they can also do therapy as well.
Which you did some social work, right?
Not under the aspect of, so that's more like case management.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so under the guides you can say I did social work, but you have to go to school for master's in social work.
Oh, I see.
You know, to do that.
Okay.
But so Melanie is a social worker.
Gotcha.
And
which I'd like to get here on her.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Dude, yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, it would be good.
And but yeah, so some of the credentialing. So if you're like looking, so there's LICSW. That's a licensed independent clinical social worker.
Okay.
Then there's a LMFT. That's a licensed marriage and family therapist.
Okay.
LMHC. It's what I do. That's individual. And then a psychologist. That is a person that went to get their doctorates, their PhD or PsyD. So they do more of like the assessments, but they can also do therapy as well.
So they can do the therapy, the assessments, and they're the ones that can write the prescriptions if necessary?
No, not psychologists.
Not psychologists.
Nope, yeah.
Sorry.
So the psychiatrists can write prescriptions.
Okay.
Nurse practitioners can write prescriptions. And those are PMHNP, so psychiatric mental health nurse practitioners.
So, okay.
Yeah.
So what's the difference between a therapist and a psychologist?
So a psychologist went to school to get their doctorates. And so really the difference is they do more of the evaluation side.
Okay.
So let's say, and they can also go to court.
Is it more clinical?
Yeah, it's definitely more clinical based.
Okay.
Now with psychologists, there's like kind of like two branches. There are people that get their PhD or their PsyD. PsyD is more like that counseling kind of aspect, and the PhD is more of like that research.
Okay.
You know, they can be professors. They love doing research and things like that. Usually in anxieties are more like they have a private practice, kind of want to focus on. The psychologist cannot write prescriptions.
Okay. Is a psychologist more like, okay, I've diagnosed you with X. Now go to your therapist and discuss
they can still work. So like I could go, like I started getting my, went to school some years ago for my PhD, but I can go to school and get my PhD and be a psychologist. Yeah. So it's just like that one step. And I don't want to say above a therapist because then it's like,
sure.
That, you know, yeah. But there's a lot of therapists will, after they finish their master's, then they'll go to school.
Okay.
You know, because then again, it opens up a little bit more grant opportunities if they want to teach, you know, so just kind of in that arena.
Okay.
But
gotcha.
yeah.
All right. So you were discussing, now we kind of got into a little bit of when you should go to therapy, what kind of therapists are out there.
Yeah.
How do you get over that hump that you were talking about of like, you know, cultural, generational? You know, how do you get past that mental blockage of, I think I should probably see one. People are telling me I should see someone.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's ingrained in me that be a man.
Be a man. I don't want to tell anybody, my friends, my family. So everyone's journey is a little different. If you are out there and you are contemplating talking with someone and you're just not sure, right? Because of the kind of inherent biases or the things that you internalized, right? Kind of growing up, either geographically or ethnically, religious, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
I mean, I would suggest at least maybe just doing research, right? Going online and just typing in like, you know, are there therapists that are black or brown or queer? You know, because there are therapists that fit in different demographics, right? That might feel comfortable because it's a similar experience, a shared experience.
Right.
And do your research. I mean, that's the best way to go.
So doing research is that, I'm gonna say that you got to be careful doing that, right? Because with ChatGPT, we'll just say AI, not to single out ChatGPT. There's several of them out there now.
Right. Yes.
I saw a thing the other day. I can't remember what it was verbatim, but basically this lady asked her whatever AI app she was using a question, and it answered her and confirmed what she was thinking.
Okay.
And she was like, "Wow, I was right." Yeah. And then she said, "You know what? I want to tell everyone how right I am. So, hey, AI, cite me the resources for this information."
Okay.
AI said, "There's no resources for this information." And she said, "Then how did you confirm what I thought was real, was actual? Like, I want to know the resources saying that what I knew is legit." AI answered and said, oh, no, I'm affirming you to make you feel better about yourself, to make sure that you can have a conversation and feel, confident in your discussion and this and that.
Yeah.
But there is actually no research. So all that to say, like, you got to be careful.
Right.
You got to be really careful. Like, you should not, definitely, in my opinion, be out there trying to self-diagnose.
No.
Right?
No.
I mean,
always. Oh, I mean, and a lot of people, that's what people do, right? They'll go online and type in like, am I bipolar? And they'll just do this little, and again, what website are they going to, right? So again,
if it's even a website anymore.
Right. If they're going to TikTok or like these social media platforms for professional help, that's not good, right? Now, there are professionals that do have TikToks or Instagram and things like that.
Hey, case in point.
Right. Yeah. And again, and that's fine. But even with that, it's like, okay, well, I would say, do you have a good relationship with your primary care doctor?
Right.
If the person does, talk with them. Be like, hey, so I was listening to this podcast and this guy was saying something and I don't know, I'm thinking I might need to see someone. Then your primary care doctor will be like, okay, well, let's say you go to Kaiser. Here's a link or here's this.
Yeah.
You can look for therapists within this website. So going to a medical professional first, especially if you have a good rapport with them, definitely do that, right?
Well, and I know like with my insurance, I can go right online and type in, here's what I'm looking for.
Yep.
And it'll spit out, here's what's in network, here's what they specialize in, all that. Is that now, I don't know, state insurance. Is that?
So Medicaid, I don't think they do have the same thing where it's just like if you're looking for a behavioral health person, you can call and say, hey, I want a therapist because I'm now contracted with Medicare and Medicaid. So basically my name is in the database.
Oh, so you are in there.
So
okay, nice.
And so, but in terms of like kind of going back with that research, going to reputable websites like Psychology Today, that's a really good website.
Okay.
You can type in like, when do I need a therapist? And all of the articles, they're written by people with PhDs, they're licensed therapists, saying, and so you can read some articles and be like, oh, maybe I kind of fit that, or maybe I should go in there. And then even within Psychology Today, you can type in your zip code, type in your insurance, and find a therapist within 5, 10, or 15 miles of where you live, So when I say do your research, I mean going to like talking with medical professionals already, if you already have a good rapport with them.
Yeah.
If you have a friend or family member that sees a therapist.
Sure.
Talking with them, be like, so what's your experience like?
Yeah, someone from a recommendation.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
But staying away from platforms that are based more on trying to get attention, right? So, going to like WebMD is fine. If you have United or Kaiser or whatever, it's like going to those websites to look for information. You can go to, if you are just like there are other platforms, websites where there are like, you can type in like, mental health associations, or, I want to see a therapist, like where can I find one? And again, Psychology Today, there's Zen Care.
Nowadays, dude, it's so, if you can't find if you can't find a way to find a psychologist or a therapist, I mean, come on.
It is tough, but there are some websites where, especially, if you're not tech savvy, right?
Yeah,
so
I guess,
so if you're not tech savvy, I would say, just talk with your primary care doctor.
Yeah, I will say that even when you do find one, I think the more important thing, like you said, is scheduling that initial consult.
Yeah.
And finding one that you like, right?
And even with that, you don't have to go in to do that initially. You can do a phone consultation.
Now, right?
But I always do 15-minute phone consultations.
Okay.
So people are like, hey, I saw your profile, you look interesting. Can I and I schedule and we talk over the phone. And I'm like,
phone
hey,
or Zoom?
Phone. Phone. Usually
phone?
I do phone call. Yeah. Some people want to do Zoom.
Yeah.
And which is fine.
Right.
But usually I just do a 15-minute phone call and we just kind of chat. I'm like, okay, well, what brings you to therapy? What are you looking for? And then we talk, and I'll tell them about my approaches, that kind of thing.
Okay.
And then some people are like, okay, you sound kind of cool. Let's do initial intake.
Right.
And then after the intake, then that's when we kind of get a little bit more meat and potatoes in terms of like why you're here, what's going on, challenges, coping skills you have. And then after the intake, I talk with them a little bit more about my approaches. And then when it's done, I'm like, what would you like to do? Do you want to set up another appointment? doing some time to think about it, you know, and a lot of times they're like, yeah, let's go ahead and schedule another appointment and do reoccurring either weekly or bi-monthly. But
do you find a commonality in issues that people are dealing with?
I mean, I guess commonality in terms of like diagnosis, like depression, right? I can think, but
yeah, I mean, I guess I'm just curious, like the world that we live in today, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, is there a reoccurring theme at any given time?
I think right now there is a lot of anxiety.
Okay.
You know, anxiety is probably the number one thing that is happening right now about what is happening, right, with our political system.
Just as a whole.
Yeah. Right? What's going on in Minnesota right now.
Yeah.
You know, ICE patrolling streets, taking people out of cars, doing all these things, right? Whether you're undocumented or not, if you are black or brown or have talk with an accent, you're like at risk now.
Right.
You know, and so there is a lot of frustration. There's a lot of stress. There's a lot of anxiety. There are families where they're like, I'm going to go to work, but I might not come back. Right.
Yeah.
And that's real for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So again, if you are anxious about going to work and that anxiety is sitting in your body and you're getting stomach aches or you're not eating and you're just having all these anxious thoughts, go see a therapist.
Yeah.
You know, if you were worried about your loved one being deported or thing and it's like, it's just in your mind, your body.
Yeah.
Go see a therapist. Talk with them about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that can also help you.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, I mean, you definitely see a therapist. I mean, that's number one. But also, there is something with people nowadays and just doom scrolling, man. They just get stuck in this cycle. And then the algorithm continues to feed it.
Yeah.
You know, I'll say living here in Seattle, right? You know, when COVID hit and the Black Lives Matter stuff was going on and everything, Seattle got a little crazy.
Yeah, it did. It did for
Chaz
a little bit,
or Chop or whatever it was. It got a little crazy.
Yeah.
But I had people calling me from other states that I know, like, are you okay? Like, it's burning. I'm like, it's really not.
It's not. Yes.
Bad.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so I'm not saying that things aren't bad in places. That's not what I'm saying. I don't know. I'm not there. What I am saying is maybe we feed into it a little too much and it does cause us some extra stress.
Oh, no, 100%. I mean, like social media does that.
Oh,
and
man.
also, too, even big news organizations, right? They sensationalize a lot of things. Or they try to get the headline in there. And
you know, it used to be sex sells, but anymore I think it's like death, destruction,
fear.
Fear is a big one right now.
Yeah. I mean, and again, I mean, you know, don't want to go political, but both parties really harp on the fear aspect.
Oh, yeah.
Right? To drive their base to vote.
They very much do. I agree.
But it's interesting because I was talking to, when I was teaching over at Shoreline Community College in the GED ABE program, I had this one lady, she was from Egypt, and she was like, oh, I'm going to go back home and visit. And another student was like, oh, is that safe? And she's like, I'm from Egypt. She's like, I've lived in the States for the past 10 years, but I go back all the time. She's like, well, I saw in the news. And I was like, well, that's, you know,
sensationalized.
And it's biased too.
Yeah,
right?
that too. Yeah.
And so she's like, no, she's like, are there bad things that happen in Egypt? She's like, there are bad things that happen in the United States.
Bad
right.
Things happen everywhere. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
When we're talking about doom scrolling, like it's funny because I just got Instagram, I don't know, like 5 years ago ish.
Man, you're hip.
Oh, but it's so funny because I'm like, oh, I'll never like buy into that. I'm like, oh my God, this is so funny. Here's a friend. Oh my God, oh my God. And then my friends like, I send so much stuff out. And then when I go back, I'm like, wow, was I working? Like, what was I doing sending all this stuff out?
Right.
But their algorithms, they are brilliant engineers.
Oh, yeah.
And they know how to suck us in just to like sit there.
Oh, yeah.
And so I have to find, like, usually what I'll do is like, I'll just take my phone, I'll turn it upside down, I'll kind of put it off to the side.
Yeah.
And then after appointments, I might go in and check or like whatever. But I have a lot of friends and family that live outside of Washington.
Right.
I have some friends that are overseas. My friend Austin lives in Amsterdam. You know, so we'll like message and, you know, but I do find myself Instagram. And I think the only one I have is like Instagram.
Yeah.
So that's what I use.
It's wild, the echo chamber that you get stuck in. And I knew it. You know, I consider myself to be somewhat sharp and savvy and not just taking everything that's fed to me, right?
Yeah.
But I really, really experienced it when I started this podcast because I had my own social medias, which I don't go on there much. But like you said, shooting, all right? I like to competitively shoot.
Yeah.
So I did a bunch of research on, that, competitive shooting, different rigs, setups, things like that. Automatically, when you're searching gun stuff, it builds a certain algorithm.
Right.
Right. You're going to be in that algorithm of a lot of white, straight dudes.
Yeah.
More right leaning than anything else, right? So you take that, right? And I do, golfing, and I build things and whatever. So there's that algorithm. Yeah. Then you take the algorithm that has been created for this podcast, which is Washington State based, which is local business owners, which is talking to healthcare professionals, interviewing, musicians, and dude, it's on the complete other side.
Oh, wow. Really?
It is very left.
Oh, wow.
So it's really wild for me to switch back and forth between my personal setup, which is just my hobbies, right?
Yeah.
Curiosities.
Right.
And then what it feeds me compared to what this podcast gets.
Yeah.
It's wild. It's really wild.
Yeah, it is. I mean, even for adults, kids, adolescents, adults, our brain chemistries are basically the same, right? So, but even as adults, even though we work and we have all this other stuff, we still try to find that time to be on socials, right?
Yeah.
And again, it's so crazy because in other countries, European countries, they have been banning certain social medias for kids under the age of 16.
I'm not against it, man.
My youngest is 9, and I remember he was like, "Oh, I can't wait till I get a phone." I'm like, you're not getting a phone.
Not gonna happen.
You're not gonna get a phone. Yeah. Like, it's just because I see when we're home, he'll go on YouTube, and so now it's only kids YouTube,
right?
And he'll watch these like little videos, and we watch and make sure they're appropriate. But he's just all consuming, and he loves watching kids that play Roblox or Minecraft, and he watches them play, and I'm like, how is that entertaining?
I never understood that. I never understood that.
I'm like, okay, but he'll be like, oh, this and that, and da-da-da-da. I'm like, all right, cool.
I will say it was pretty funny. I was talking smack to, I think it was one of my daughter's friends or something, and it might have been my daughter. I can't remember, but they were watching somebody play, I don't know, Minecraft or Roblox or whatever it is.
Yeah.
My kids are damn near adults.
Yeah,
right? I guess they are technically adults. But I'm like, why are you watching other people play video games?
Yeah.
Like, this is ridiculous. You could just play a video game. And I think it was Zoe. She goes, you watch people play football. I'm like, all right.
That was a good video. Yeah, that was a good one.
Fair enough. Get your fat butt out there and play some football.
But there are a lot of kiddos, teenagers that are just addicted to their phones.
Yes.
I know a lot of school districts are trying to implement not bringing phone in the classroom, or they're trying to
high school did that this year. It's been rough.
Yeah.
For the teachers.
Yeah.
Kids, you're not going to stop them, man.
Yeah.
You're not going to stop them. Yeah. And Zoe's got a built-in advantage because she's got cochlear implants that are direct connected to her phone.
Yeah.
So whereas the other kids can't have earbuds or Zoe still listens.
She still listens. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
They can't stop her. But no, it's been really rough for the teachers and stuff, trying to get the kids to get off their damn phones.
And again, it's like it starts at a young age. Yeah. And that's why I'm just like we knew as adults and as professionals and parents, we knew where this was going.
Yeah.
When social media first came out, it was on the phones.
Yeah.
But we weren't proactive. At kindergarten, we should start talking to kids about that, right? Yeah. Not just in terms of the addiction properties of it, right? But the bullying aspect.
Yeah, that's huge. That's huge.
I remember getting bullied in school, but when I left school, the bullying stopped.
Yeah.
And now it's 24/7.
Yeah. Well, you remember what happened to Lily.
Yes.
She had that happen to her.
Yeah.
She was getting bullied, and because of social media and, just social media, it never stops.
It never stops.
Yeah.
And so we really need to come together as, lawmakers, parents, school officials, medical professionals, therapists, and really to say what do we need to do to better equip our kids to handle what is coming down?
Yeah.
Right? Because even then, this is happening now, but 5 years from now, what is it going to look like? It's going to be different. It's going to look different.
Oh, we're not on a good trajectory. I mean, you look at the past, 2005, 6, 7 is really when I started carrying a cell phone, I think.
Yeah. I
mean, maybe before that, but it wasn't what it is now.
Yeah, right, exactly.
I mean?
It was mainly to call.
It was a call. It was a phone, threw it in the glove box of the car in case I needed it kind of thing, 5, 6, 7 is when it started, like, color screens. You could take pictures and maybe before then, but I wasn't really into it. it's been 20 years since then for me.
Yeah.
And you literally do everything on it now.
Yes,
Everything.
everything.
Banking.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not a phone. It's
Yeah.
not a phone.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is a life partner.
Yeah. No, it is.
Computer.
It is someone's just everything.
Yeah.
I can still leave my phone in the car or at home and I'll forget it. Like
Sure.
I can still do that. Like one time I was at Fred Meyer and I had my little grocery list that I kind of text to myself.
Yeah, I do the same thing.
And I left my phone in the car and I'm all, oh, do I go back to my car to go get my phone or do I try to remember the list?
Right.
And I literally got nothing on the list and everything that I didn't need. I'm like, well, I should just gone back and get it.
Well, and that's the thing is we depend on it so much now. But I think the thing that scares me most is, like you were saying with kids, the access that they have to not just social medias, but like pornography and things like that.
Yeah.
Like, in my opinion, it has changed the landscape for young men and women.
Yes.
You know, I mean, the ideals of a relationship, a sexual relationship, and how that carries out, it's not real anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm fortunate in having all daughters, and I don't think to my knowledge, I got prudes, which I'm good with for the most part. Yeah. But, you know, you hear about these young men now, you know, not being able to interact with young ladies because they're so confused.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And now you bring in AI into it. Now there's things that legitimately not are just Hollywood pornography fake, like, oh, people don't really act or look like this.
Right.
But are actually fake.
Yeah, yeah,
like
no,
fake,
actually
fake,
fake. Yeah, no,
100% computer
100%.
generated
Yeah.
fake.
No.
You know,
definitely.
so it's scary, dude. It is
you
scary.
know, but I think though the whole being awkward, that also has been normal. Because think about when you were like 13, 14, 15.
Oh no, 100%.
Like, did your dad teach you about talking to girls or doing anything like that? Usually it was always in a realm of like, is she hot? Or, you know, it was like that guy kind of talk,
guy
right?
talk,
right.
Yeah.
And then you do the same thing with your friends, but you're also reinforcing negative behaviors, right?
True.
Very true. So, but then also on the other side, like, how are young girls taught? And then what happens with them, right? So you're both having all these like negative, you know, narratives, these stereotypes, and they're just kind of banging each other.
Sure.
So, but it's interesting. Remember sex ed in school?
Yeah.
I mean, it was kind of lame. It was weird.
Sure.
But you still didn't get to understand about the behavior, like what is appropriate, what is not appropriate.
Yeah, very true.
Right?
Yeah.
If you're walking down the hall and you whistle at a girl, why is that not appropriate? Why shouldn't you do that? Right? You know, and again, it has not changed where two guy friends can high five each other. If like, oh, you know, I had sex with like 10 girls, high five.
Right.
But a woman can't do that.
Right.
The moment she does that, then she's labeled.
Right.
Right. All these really horrible words. So again, even now, it's not equal.
Sure.
But going back to having the buy-in from parents and school officials and medical professionals talking about stuff like that at an early age that's age appropriate.
Yeah.
So that way we don't have these issues when they are adults.
Right.
You know, and we can just like look at other countries in terms of how they handle that.
Right.
You know, what do they do a little bit different? Now, there's not one country that does it better or the best, but we can study and be like, oh, well, Japan does this way and South Korea does this way. And, oh, in Europe they do that. And that looks like that might work. Maybe we can model that and structure it where it works for us.
Right.
But I think I told you years ago, I used to work as a treatment provider for sex offenders.
Yeah.
And I work with mainly adults and then I also work with adolescents. And I had parents like sit down and I'm like, hey, is my kid normal? What's going on? Why did he do this? And it's like, yes, it's normal in terms of what they're feeling inside, but the acting out, that's where, okay, there was an issue. Something was going on.
Right.
But they also didn't feel comfortable talking to you about that. And I would ask them, Dad, did you talk with your kid about sex? Well, I mean, I can see them already getting uncomfortable.
Sure,
I'm like, you're already uncomfortable just saying the word sex.
Yeah, yeah.
So how do you expect your son to demonstrate good behavior if you're uncomfortable talking about this?
Well, I mean, that's what you hear about with like, I mean, all the worst, right?
Yeah.
As far as, you know, serial killers, mass shooters, any of that stuff. It all, I mean, almost always starts with the upbringing.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, who was it? Timothy McVeigh wasn't touched for like the first like 2 years of his life.
I heard about that. Like, I don't know how accurate that is, but that's,
like, there's some documentary, I haven't watched it, but like there's always something, right? That comes from the parent. It's always our fault. Mm-hmm. It's always our fault as a parent. But you have to be open. You have to be very vocal with your children. You have to be very involved with your children, I think. Very honest, They're going to catch you. When you're not honest, they're going to catch you.
Exactly. Well, and it's funny because that kind of actually leads to something I wanted to talk about in terms of risks and protective factors.
Okay.
So like risks are basically the word. Like, what are the risk factors to like mental health, right? So we have like individual factors are like emotional skills, right? Or emotional intelligence, substance use, right? Genetics can also increase the vulnerability to mental health problems, right?
Okay.
So again, that's if your family where your dad and your grandfather or great grandpa, maybe there's like schizophrenia in there. Right, the risk of you developing schizophrenia is a little bit higher.
Right.
You can't take a test to see, this is a number.
Right.
But there's a greater risk. But
there's a genetic disposition to
exactly.
it.
Exactly. Substance use, obviously, any forms of substance use can increase your risk of developing serious mental health. Diagnosis like depression, any kind of psychotic disorders, that kind of thing.
Well, a lot of people tend to self-medicate that way.
Yes, right. Exactly. For individuals that are bipolar and they have a lot of racing thoughts, they will turn to weed. They're like, it like really helps me. Well, it helps you only when you do it. But what happens when you're not smoking? You're not doing it.
You just want to do it.
Yeah. Right. And, and then your coping skills, that kind of thing. Right. Another part in terms of risk with individual factors are social and environmental factors, right? So that includes like poverty.
Yeah.
Right. The neighborhood that you live in. Are you living in a ghetto or a poor area, or are you living in Mercer Island?
Right.
Violence, domestic violence. Is your family, is there a lot of violence in your household? Inequality is also really big. Environmental. In terms of where you live. Or do you live under the airport? Where there's planes going down, there's noise pollution all the time, right? Yeah, man, but all these things add up, right? Do you live in an area neighborhood where there's a food desert? Are there not a lot of green spaces and trees in your neighborhood, right? All those contributing factors. That doesn't mean necessarily that, yes, that person, since they live in this area, they're going to develop anxiety or what have you, but it's a contributing factor.
Sure.
And the risk can emerge at any stage in life, right?
Right.
Obviously, if you are born into a family where there's high domestic violence and, dad was in prison and is in and out and mom's a drug addict, then your risk shoots up, right? But not there's some kids that are born in that situation, but they get themselves out and they do amazing.
Yeah.
But then there are kids that were born with everything.
Right.
And still turn to drugs and alcohol, right? You know what I mean? Yep. So again, it's just that.
I've seen both sides of the spectrum.
Exactly,
for sure.
Exactly. But then protective factors are basically just like that. What are the things that help us build resilience? And that can be, again, individual, like that social emotional skills, emotional intelligence, positive social interactions. And when we say positive social interactions, that is who is really supportive in your life, right? You can have friends.
Sure.
But are your friends like, hey, Joe, you want to go ditch school and go smoke?
Right.
Yeah, and you're like, well, he's my friend. Well, your friend also help you ditch school and smoke. Like that's,
right.
So the positive supports like family, friends, could be coworkers, right? Anyone in our lives that we consider that one's positive and supportive, that is a protective factor. Access to quality education, access to healthcare, right? Access to a good job, access to transportation. All those are also protective factors. You have a couple kids, but you don't have a car and you live far away from the light rail. Right. How are you going to get your kids to school or to the doctor or to whatever, right?
Yeah.
So, it's just like that the risks and the protective factors. So, and again, not everybody that has positive, great protective factors, they're not going to be necessarily shielded from a traumatic event.
It's just funny you running through that list. It's a lot of stuff that me personally I take for granted.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm set up fairly well,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because of, you know, putting things together and trying to stay on the right path in my life and work hard and do the things. But like you said, I mean, there's a lot of people that can't control a lot of that's on that list, you know, and I could see how not hitting some of those markers would make you feel very unsafe.
Yeah.
You know,
oh, definitely.
Insecure, questioning things constantly. Yeah. No, that's tough.
You know, a big thing now, obviously we were talking about earlier is like just race and ethnicity, right? What's happening in Minneapolis, the Trump administration is going after, you know, the Somali community, right? And again, so it's just like, it's still racism, but it's targeted to this group, right?
Right.
So even then, they might be professionals and they live in a really safe area and all this stuff.
Yeah.
But because of the race, ethnicity, religion, now they are they're targeted, right?
Yeah,
and so now there are people. I was listening to NPR, and there are people like, I'm afraid to leave my home now. Because now the anxiety is through the roof.
Right.
There's this legit fear there of being just picked up. Right. So before, if you didn't have any anxiety, life was really good. You know, we go to the mosque, we have this great community. Right. Yeah, there's racism. Yeah, there's always that.
There's always some,
But now, unfortunately, but now there's like that added layer. Now it's like they're knocking on people's front door.
Right.
You know,
seeked out,
exactly. I can't remember the study, but there are a lot of studies where individuals that go in, mental health professionals and go in after like natural disasters, you know, and help people kind of cope.
Sure.
And what's really interesting, because there are a lot of people that live in areas where there's a lot of like natural disasters.
Sure.
You know, they rebuild.
Hurricanes, tornadoes.
Exactly.
Earthquakes,
you know? And a lot of, I mean, they lose everything.
Yeah.
You know, but they also live in a village with like no electricity. You know, their place of dwelling was like they built it themselves, right?
Right.
And it is interesting because for a lot of people that have faced a lot of hardship in their life, they also build a lot of resilience, right? And it can be anything. It could be just like how you grew up. Right. Maybe both your parents were just like hard asses and just like beating you every day and just like really talking negative. But through that, you found more strength. You're like, you know what? I don't like when people talk to me that way. So now when you go out in the world, if someone says something to you, be like, yeah, no, don't talk to me that way.
Right.
But that could also play the opposite for some people. Right?
Yeah, it's funny you say that because, well, you know how I grew up, where I came from.
Yeah.
It was a little bit tough.
Yeah.
You know, got through, got where I am today. But I have that issue with my kids. When something bothers them, I look and go, "You've got it so much better."
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, like kind of like comparing.
Yeah,
and just like,
I look at it like, why is this bothering you so much?
Yeah.
This is not a big deal.
This is not a big deal.
Which is probably terrible for me. And I'm not saying that I say that directly to them.
But that's the
I
start.
try to understand.
Yeah,
you know, I try to understand, but I'm like, this is so minute and minuscule.
Yeah.
Of the things that I've had to deal with.
Right.
You know?
No, definitely. Yeah.
I mean, even now, you know, my youngest, Zoe, is going through some relationship problems.
Yeah.
I have to sit and listen to her relationship problems and even have her tell me that I don't know what it's like. And I'm like, okay, girl.
Okay.
I'll be here. I'll be dad. I'm going to listen.
Yeah.
Someday you're going to look back at this conversation and go, wow, I can't believe I said that to my widowed father. But it's hard. It's hard. Like you said, you know, you grow up a certain way, you go through certain things. Your perspective is completely different from other people's. So,
And, you know, and when that happens, it is like, as a professional, you can separate, right? When someone is coming in and talk to me about things and their challenges, I'm not judging them. I'm not saying, oh, my life was this. I'm listening to where they are and asking questions, right? I'm reflecting what they're saying. I'm acknowledging what they're saying. I'm validating their experience and everything that they've been through, right? But then as a parent, there are times they'll like say or do something. I'm like, man, if I would have thought about saying that, I would have gotten whooped. Yeah. I would have just, you know, and so, and again, I am not going to.
I know your parents were old school.
Oh yeah. I mean, I remember one time my brother and I, we were at a department store, and it was like Macy's or Woolworths or whatever is back east. And my brother and I, we were just kind of like just playing. We were quiet. And I think we just got maybe a little too rambunctious. And it's like, pop, like, boom, like, I was like, quiet. Like,
right.
Okay. you know, and but that was like that generation of like kids are seen, not heard, right? Yes. Like there is no, you don't have an opinion.
Don't speak unless spoken.
Right, right. Yep. So it's just like when we have friends over and the kids and, you know, my 17-year-old's like talking, like, I mean, it's fine because I want him to be able to do that. But at the same time, I'm just like, who asked you?
Well, you and I were talking about it the other day. Sit down in the evening, try to watch a television show. And the kids will just come in and just interrupt. Yeah. Whether they're doing something in the living room or the kitchen, or they stand right in front of you and tell you about their day. Yeah. Dude, when I was a kid, I would have got beat.
Oh my God, right?
My dad was watching the news, or a football game, or God forbid, he actually took the time to sit down and watch a movie, which was rare, and I decided to like ruin that moment.
Yeah, oh yeah. Oh,
it would have been over.
Yep. Yep.
Or even just coming into the living room and being like, my kids are already have taken it over. There's no spot for dad.
Right. Yeah,
there's no that's spot. Dad's chair.
Yeah.
There's no we give dad the TV now. There's none of that.
There's none of that. There's none of that. So it's funny, because like if our 17 walks in, we just pause it. Yep. I'm like, so what's going on? Like, oh, blah blah blah. And again, it's funny because like we don't mind it, you know. It's great.
Yeah,
but at the same time,
you're fortunate to have that dialogue with them.
Yes,
and you have to appreciate and recognize that, so you don't get frustrated.
Exactly. Because there are times like too, like we're tired, we're busy, we just want to like sit down.
This is your moment,
and just like like watch like
totally understand,
right? You know, American Ninja Warrior, and see like guys jump from trampoline to trampoline. Like that's great for me. I need that.
Just
and
some
like,
mind numbing.
Right? Be like, oh, I need to talk. Like, oh, he was in the middle of a jump. Is he going to make it? Okay. You know, but again, it's things that now as parents that we try to learn.
Yeah.
And be like, how can we be better parents?
Yes.
Like, what can we do differently?
Yeah.
Right. So having those moments of sitting down and being like, okay, let's do this.
Yeah.
Let's talk it out.
Well, and I also find that, again, my youngest is 18 now, and I find that, boy, that time went by fast.
Yeah.
It went by real fast.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember when Issa was just a baby.
Oh, my gosh.
And how old is he now? 9?
He's 9.
That's crazy, dude. You got 9 more years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, what you've already done, do it one more time.
I know, and then that's it. That's it. I know.
It's wild. So as annoyed as I get as a parent, I'm like, one day soon, I'm going to be like, wow, I barely talk to, like, the kids don't call me anymore. Right. You know what I mean?
Yes,
like,
it's going to happen. Own life. Yeah.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And, you know, and again, and it's interesting because, like, kind of going back to, like, oh, do I need to go to counseling? Right. So if you are married and you have kids and you have a big family, like, just ask yourself, like, you know, am I taking the time to chat with my family?
Yeah.
How much time? Right. Are we all like just watching TV or on our own devices?
Yes.
And we're not talking?
Yes.
Like, when's the last time you said, hey, let's get in the car and go for a trip?
Like, who does family dinner anymore?
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's hard.
I mean, we try to do it a little bit more now. Before I work evenings mainly, you know, and actually COVID was the best thing for my family. Yeah. Because it forced me to then work at home. And I remember this first time I like sat down, we were all eating. I was like, whoa, what's this about? What are we doing?
Yeah.
I was like, we're eating dinner. I'm like, all together, like at the same time, weird, at the same table?
Yeah.
Like, he's like, yeah, you're working late. I'm like, oh, wow. I was missing out on a lot, you know? But yeah, so, and we'll try to like, we'll have like a show on that we all watch and sit and watch it, whatever. Or we turn the TV off and sit and like, but it's just like, it is, you know, doing game nights, like family game nights, you know? So there are things that we can do. Karaoke night, right? You know? And, but it's sad because look, since everything, like how many times have our families gotten together? It's not many. Thanksgiving. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like the holidays, but the girls are older. They're adults. They have their stuff going on, right?
You opened your own practice.
Right. You know, Julie's working, right? All these things. So it's just like that time that we can spend together, it gets kind of pulled apart.
It does.
But we have to be intentional about setting that time.
Yeah.
And even I bet you said, all right, girls, once a week, we're going to do this. They're going to roll their eyes and be like, that's stupid, that's lame. But I bet you if you do that and you do it, it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
And they're going to like it. You know? So again, it's just like, if you're able to, as whether you're a single parent or you're in a relationship, say, all right, let's try to do this at least once a month. Let's do this once a month, like game night.
I like it.
And they're even, he's bringing back in electronics, but there's this thing on TikTok where you do the word rhyming, like rock, rock,
you wanted to play that on, yeah.
But that's a good family thing, right? To do and bring everyone together.
Look, you're not going to get away from electronics. Incorporating them into a family activity isn't okay.
It's okay,
substitute.
Right? But then again, it's just like having boundaries around that, right?
Yeah.
So you might be able to do that one night, but then the other night we're going to do good old fashioned Monopoly, or maybe charades, or what's one where you draw
Monopoly's
stuff.
a table flipper, bro.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Like like, what are you doing? You bought everything. It's like all I know is at least like in Black culture, Monopoly. Have always been fights.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
it's just like,
I think that might be every culture.
I remember like even playing cards with my mom because she's so competitive, like Jim Rummy.
Yeah.
She's like 500. Where are you? How much do you have? Yeah. Oh, you're gonna cry. Like just like
that was Becca.
Oh man,
Becca was competitive. Dude.
Oh, Becca.
Like so competitive.
I remember she would yell at me. I'm like, I'm gonna cry. Like I never want to be on her team because she's like, what are you doing?
Oh
yeah, no, not doing well.
Like,
oh my God! Right,
game night could be rough.
Oh man, but it's just like again, it's just like if you have a family and if you feel that the family is disconnected, ask yourself, okay, what can I do to bring them together? And again, you can go online. What are some good ideas for family game night? Yeah. I have a 17-year-old, a 12-year-old, and an 8-year-old. Yeah, and so again, the internet can be good resources, right? Yeah. But as an adult, hopefully you have the ability to say, oh yeah, I don't think that's a good website, or that sounds weird, right? And then you can say, oh, okay, this sounds fun. This sounds fun. Yeah. One of the things I do with my clients, if they are in a relationship and things aren't going too well, we do just play a game where it's just like you have like a cold like fishbowl game, where you just have a bowl, and let's say it's just like you and your spouse, it's just like both of you working a lot. You get home, you're tired, you're watching TV, and then it's like you're in bed. And it's just like day after day after day, you're not really doing much. Right. Well, what you do is, let's say, you have a construction paper to purple, someone else has green, and you write different things on there. Okay, so next Friday, we're going to go to a new restaurant. So you find a restaurant, write it in, they do it, you put it in there, you just keep putting it, and then one of you draws, and that's a place you're going to go. Nice. Right? So you can tailor it to anything. Could be like family activities. Yeah. Maybe different parks you want to discover. Right. During wintertime, maybe like, maybe let's, I won't say go skiing because that's expensive. You don't have the money or the ability to do that. It really is. It's so expensive.
It's been so long since I went. I want to take the kids, and I'm like, no.
Yeah. But then get in your car and go to North Bend or someplace where there's snow, and old school, get a garbage lid, and
sledding, man.
Right. But you can do different things, but you have to be intentional about it. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And there has to be also like buy-in. Yeah. So from like that family structure of like, what can I do to help my kids and myself disconnect from technology?
Yeah. Well, and I think there's something to be said for at least trying.
Yes.
Because again, I find more and more I'm realizing how finite the time that I have.
Yeah.
With not just on this earth, because there's been so much of that in my life lately, but just with my family, with my friends. It really is, there was a video I saw the other day. I told you about it. Guy was like mapped out basically every day in a block, and like, here's how much.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Here's how much you're gonna spend on the toilet, taking a shower, sleeping, eating, blah blah blah. And when it came down to it, like, there really wasn't that many blocks left to just enjoy life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of people are spending that time on their phones, which we discussed.
On their phones or laptop or whatever it is. Yeah.
But I think like the one thing that I always kind of keep in the back of my head. I'm going to do the best that I can and hope that my kids do a little bit better than I did.
Okay. Yes.
You know what I mean? Yeah. If I can do a little bit better than my parents did, and they can do a little bit better than I did, so on and so forth, we should be okay.
Yes. Yeah. And that comes back to being intentional.
Yeah.
About the choices that you're doing. Yeah. Right. Again, kind of going back to like modeling good behavior. There are times I know I have not modeled great behavior.
Everyone has
I'm driving and I'm just like blowing a horn and saying things.
Doing it.
Exactly. And then I look back and I'm like, Daddy shouldn't have used those words. Like, sorry, don't say those words.
Daddy shouldn't have used those words.
Yeah,
but
right. And it's so bad. Like, my husband's like, they have like a little kids gym, daycare gym, LA Fitness, and so he went and picked him up, and so the lady was like, like Issa called this little girl like the B word or something.
Yeah.
And Matt was like, hey, like what word did you say? And he's like, did you say? He said, no, I didn't say that word. It was like another word, like, but it wasn't bitch, right?
Yeah.
It was something else. And Matt was like, well, do you know bad words?
Right.
And he's like, yeah. And he's like, whoa, you know what? Tell me what they are right now. You can only do this one time. What are the words that you know? He's like, oh, like, fuck off, fuck you, God damn it. Just going through the list. And Matt's
he had a hell of a
every time
Rolodex.
he said a word, he's like, do you know what it sounded like? I'm like me? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, oh no. I'm so sorry. And again, it's crazy because like the New Yorker like kind of comes out and I'm just like, and I've tried to like modify. I've tried to say like, beans and franks.
right.
It hits that same soul. But I try to be mindful. I'm just like, okay, Dekel. Like that's not like.
There was a video of this little girl online that I saw, and she's like, I'm going to take a fucking nap. And the mom's like, whoa. And she's like, what? She's like, that's what you say, take a fucking nap.
Yeah.
It's not even a bad word at this point. It's the word.
It's the word. Like that's it. And it's like so bad. And I'm just like, oh man, like I'm not modeling good behavior, So but again, as parents, we can't beat ourselves over every little thing.
Yes.
Right? Because it's hard. It's literally one of the hardest jobs.
Yeah.
If someone said, hey, Dekel, you have to go to Mars right now and like build a society and I have no training, that would be easier than being a parent sometimes, right?
Like I tell my kids, like, I don't know who gave me this job because I never said I was ready for it. Right.
Yeah.
No training.
Yeah.
No
training,
forewarning.
Right.
Just like, hey, you're responsible for lives.
Yeah. You're like, great.
And making responsible adults that contribute to society. No, that's it's something.
Yeah. And it's funny because like going back to it, it's just like if you are. That's one of the things. Like there are family therapists out there that can like say, if you're like, hey, you know what, I really want to work on having better communication with my family. Yeah. Go see a family therapist. If your spouse, if things are just kind of a little weird, there's a lot of stress going on and you're not sure why, go see a couples therapist, right? And couples therapists can also see individuals. So like they'll see the couple, but then see one time, and then kind of together. And again, if there's just a lot of stress in your life and it's like, I don't know how I can get through this, go see a therapist.
Yeah. Have an outlet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I want to just kind of put out there one of the things that I would like to get from you, maybe for the listeners as well. Is there a list of books that you would recommend?
Oh man, they're putting me on the spot right now.
Well, not right now. Not right now.
Yeah.
But one of my things I'm trying to focus on this year is reading more.
Okay.
I love to read. Yeah. I have set it aside to do other things, and I am intentionally making time every day to get a few chapters in. I already got one book finished this year, so I'm doing all right.
All right. Okay, good. Which book?
This one was actually called Stardust Ranch. Okay. It is, so you see I've got my it was something I was doing for the podcast. It's a paranormal book. I've got two more in the stable that I'm going to do for the podcast, but Dan Brown just came out with a new book I want to read.
Oh, we're reading it. We have it home.
Oh, did you start reading it?
Not yet. Matt's reading it and then I'm going to read it.
It's in my stable.
Okay, yeah.
I haven't gotten there yet. But I'd like to see if you could maybe put a small list together of like, hey, here's some good books from some reputable sources that you would recommend.
Okay, yeah.
Let's try and get that out there for them. And then do you have any kind of an idea on other topics that you want to touch on through this series, or are we just going to do it day by day?
We'll just do it day by day.
Okay.
Definitely I have other colleagues, eventually I'd like to bring in. Okay. I know a lot of the, because of the current administration, one of the things now that is very popular is autism. And talk about autism and the quote unquote rise in diagnosis, right?
Sure.
But my youngest son is autistic.
Yeah.
And so just, bringing either someone in talking about that.
I'd be really interested in having a conversation on that. Yeah. Just because of my curiosity.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it does seem like it's something, but is it one of those things where it's more prevalent now, or we're just diagnosing it?
Oh, and that's the thing. It's like, we have better tools and understanding to diagnose it, right? Because like 30, 40 years ago, when a kid was nonverbal, like, oh, they're autistic, right? But now we know that autism is just not, that person can't talk, right? Like, so easily, he is verbal, but he also has a significant speech delay.
Right.
So the first couple years of his life, he couldn't really talk or maybe say one word and he couldn't understand it.
Sure.
But he's doing really well. He's in occupational therapy, speech therapy ever since he was like 2.
He's doing amazing.
He's doing great.
He really is doing amazing.
But autism looks differently. right? It's not just this one thing. But definitely bring other colleagues in and just like talking about just mental health in general. Yes, we can specify about anxiety or depression or autism or ADHD, but then just how does that show up in your life, right? So if you are having and experiencing a lot of stress, how does that show up for you?
Gotcha.
Right? What are the difference between positive and negative coping skills? Right? Talking about how your anxiety sits in your body. Right? How does it show?
Yeah.
What are the masking things that you're doing? Like, oh, I'm fine. Well, you're also drinking a lot more, or you're also engaging in these really kind of negative behaviors, but you're saying you're fine, but that's not what the actions show, right? That's not what the behaviors kind of illustrate. But just kind of talk about mental health.
I like it. I think I'm going to learn a lot for sure. And I think we're going to be putting some good information out there. So, and the other thing I want to remind people to do is submit some comments and questions, because we are going to be checking those and try to get some answers out there for people. So, what was
so growth.positiveawakenings@gmail.
growth.positiveawakenings@gmail.com.
Yes.
And then what do you know? You said you did set up an Instagram.
So do have an Instagram. So I'm assuming that's the same, because, and I'm going to try to do a TikTok, but we'll see how that. So,
we'll get there in the future. We'll get there in the future. Definitely, you'll be able to find all this stuff on Stick Lounge. So Stick Lounge TikTok, Stick Lounge Instagram, Stick Lounge YouTube, all the same. Facebook, but I don't know if anybody's on Facebook anymore.
I never had it, but
I mean, it's there, but
I think people like 65 and older maybe now.
Hey. All right, man. Anything else you want to get out there? I think this is a good first episode. We kind of laid the groundwork. I'm excited. I think this is gonna be a lot of fun. I'm excited to see who you bring in too.
Awesome. Yes.
All right. Thanks, Dekel.
All right.
Stick Lounge Podcast, guys. Check us out. Once a month, right?
Once a month.
Once a month. Positive Awakening series with Dekel Zuri. Thanks. Bye.
Joe and Hampton, lights dim, it's game time. Interview sharp, cut through like a shank line. Stick Lounge stories unfold, real and raw. From hustlers to dreamers, breaking laws with a claw. Microphone warriors, capturing life's conflicts. Sitting across legends, tales flick like black pics. Drop bars, not mics, knowledge, it rains. From the streets to the beats in every vein. Stick Lounge Podcast, tales heavy with the weight. Real lives, gritty stories, never fake. Joe and Hampton, digging deep, no facade, untold narratives every